We're running a stream even right now.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm not in house. All right, Denard. Check audio test. Check 1 2 3 4 5 5. Okay, good. You're gonna start in like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna give them a 5-minute warning in like 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll start at 20.
This is music. It's on.
That's the one. Well, I can turn it on. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You know, this is you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. I don't know. So I think we did. Did we do?
We did it from the microphone. Yeah, but it was kind of because of the music. What does the program say?
It says the program says Pledge Allegiance.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Is that what we want to do instead of the national anthem?
If we have it.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Okay, and you got that, right? You're leading that up here? When am I coming up here with you?
You only come up. You're going to come up at the end.
Yeah.
And you come up.
That's when we're turning over.
Joe's pulling you up.
Okay.
Joe Rixey will pull you up.
Okay, good. So he's
about an hour.
Okay.
Just under an hour.
So I should wait for him to signal me up here and not just stand up here?
Yeah.
Okay.
He should call. He'll talk about the switch. So they talk. He talks again. I'm gonna stand off to the side or whatever, and I'll come up when you're done.
Okay.
And I'll chat.
Okay.
And then I'll call you up at the very end
to do the blue and gold. Okay. So I'll wait for him to give me the signal.
Yeah, I don't think we have. Yeah, he's right there, so we can make sure he knows to give you a signal. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony will start in 5 minutes. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. March off the colors.
Please bow your heads in prayer. Let us pray together, each of us according to our individual beliefs. Let us offer thanks for this opportunity to gather again as the 9th Annual Navy Rugby Alumni Association Hall of Fame and With You dinner welcomes United States Naval Academy leadership, military representatives, alumni, coaches, women's and men's first-class players, family, and friends. We are mustered here tonight to support, to honor, and to celebrate the past, present, and future advancement of the United States Naval Academy women's and men's rugby programs. As a Navy rugby family, we live the concept of being with you in many different roles. We strive to encourage one another, learn from one another, compete together at the highest levels, and to hold one another up, whether in victory or defeat. Tonight, please remember that there is so much to be grateful for, despite the challenges we all face daily at this unprecedented time. Remember that we are all sisters and brothers. Let us triumph through each day, supporting those who need us, and in turn, appreciating the support and love of those who are with us. May we all live strong in our faiths. All of this in God we pray. Amen.
Well done. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Welcome home, Navy Rugby. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please continue to eat during the comments. It's great to see players, young and old, coaches, families, friends, gather to celebrate Navy Rugby. I want to start with a quick few acknowledgments and greetings. I believe we have Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill here this evening, General Fulford, Vice Admiral Rixey, the 63rd Superintendent of the Naval Academy, Vice Admiral Buck. And we'll also be Vice Admiral Byrne, or Rear Admiral Byrne, and we also have the SUB and the AD will be here later. To any flag and general officers in the crowd I missed, I apologize. I missed you, but you are certainly welcome and glad you're joining us at the Navy Rugby event. I'd also like to make a quick shout out and thank you acknowledgement of our inaugural class of the Navy Rugby Hall of Fame. We've got, and they're here with their wives this evening, supporting us as always. We've got General Carlton Fulford and Mary Ann Fulford. Thank you so much for making the time to come out. Sam and Jay Marone, thank you again. Constantly being out here, it's great. And then Ernie and Sharon Blake. Again, thank you so much for being here. Good to see you again. Ernie and Sharon came from one event to another, so that tells you where we are. Ernie told me it's much more fun here than it is over at the other thing. I would like to say having them here, their leadership, their generosity, and their support is always great and greatly appreciated and serves as a wonderful example for all of us here to follow. I would like to take, if I could just get a moment. I appreciate we're like a pseudo reunion, and I do not want to be like the person in the way of that, but I will get off the stage as quickly as possible. I appreciate it. I'd like to take this moment to thank the Navy Rugby Alumni Association staff. All this stuff takes a lot of work. It's a fully volunteer organization. It's something that no one's paid for. They spend a lot of time on, and I appreciate everyone there. So if you give me a round of applause for the Navy Rugby staff, that'd be great. Thank you. Since we gathered here last year, a lot has happened to our sport. The Men's World Cup showcased the best in the world. Netflix released a Six Nations series that's introduced rugby to millions of people. We've had the women's national team won bronze and gold in dramatic fashion. And it's helped make people like Alona Mayer like household names here. So it's pretty cool to see where the sport's going. It's also been big for Navy Rugby as well. 2 successful seasons for our teams. We've had more Rhodes Scholars awarded, more Marshall Scholars awarded. We had the Secretary of the Navy sponsor a Pacific Island rugby diplomacy tour for both teams to go into the South Pacific, to Tonga, Samoa, and Fiji. And most importantly, we've got 2 full rosters, 2 full teams of go-getters that are out there ready to serve our country. The sport is growing, and the evolution is really exciting to watch. It's a great game, as we all know. It's got a spot for everyone as long as you're willing to be part of the team and be with you. Navy Rugby is gathered annually to celebrate both our exceptional alums and the Hall of Fame ceremony, which many of you were upstairs for, and to rekindle the bond that we were just rekindling a few minutes ago with the unique Navy Rugby community, which is exemplified in celebrating our spirit. Many of you were upstairs for the induction, but for those of you that weren't, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge our Hall of Fame class of 2024. So when I call your name, please stand up and we'll give you a round of applause. So Houston Jones from 74. There he is. George Krokak from 86. Thanks, George. Todd Broomer from 96. Thank you. Sean Donovan, 96 as well. Strong showing from 96. Ashley Sullivan from 98. Ashley was also one of my instructors at NAPS and one of my coaches, so clearly trained well. Beth Simmons, 01. And we also had my teammate and my partner in the centers, Nick Giron, 02, who unfortunately passed about 19 years ago in 2005 in a operational mishap with aviation during operations in South America. But he was here. His family was here earlier for the Hall of Fame. But we have him. He was posthumously inducted today. So we have that. And we also have the first women's team, class of our team of 98, here with us also in there as a team. So thank you. So for all of you out there, remember, Hall of Fame inductions, nominations are peer-driven. So if you see someone or know someone, get out there and nominate them and put people on the list, right? So if you see someone, it's up to you to put them out there in our radar. We also have one other member to talk about this evening. We have our Hall of Fame class recognizes our in memoriam and our with you honoree. This year it's Lieutenant Junior Grade Daryl Chen from class of 80. Sadly, Daryl passed in a T2 Buckeye mishap in Meridian, Mississippi, just a couple years after he graduated. But it's a purposeful and constant reminder that we put that out there for us to have a with you honoree. We understand and we want to make sure we remember that the Navy Marine Corps and in service to our nation is often dangerous. But if we look to our left and to our right, I think we were reminded that it's worth it. I want you to think about that for a little bit. Go, Daryl. The phrase, the game they play in heaven, is often attributed to rugby because of its passionate and spirited nature, as well as the camaraderie and sportsmanship fostered among its players. The expression reflects the idea that rugby is a sport that embodies the ideas of teamwork, respect, and fair play, which are often associated with the idealized versions of community and fellowship. Rugby is a game that brings people together, transcending cultural and social barriers. See the diplomacy tour in South Pacific. Additionally, the physicality and excitement of the game, combined with its rich traditions and sense of community, contribute to its reputation as a sport that embodies joy and passion and makes it feel almost divine to its enthusiasts. These qualities are found in many sports, but I would argue that they are not taught, protected, and revered like they are on the rugby pitch and in the clubhouses. In many ways, it serves as an anvil in which we shape the men and women of Navy rugby as they prepare to protect our nation. And I am confident in these men and women as they strive to be the best leaders possible for our sailors and Marines. Now, for some official Navy Rugby Alumni Association business, I'm going to invite Vice Admiral Joe Rixey to the stage.
Hey, it's great to see everybody. And I can't believe how quiet you all being tonight. Because I remember the first time I stood up here and tried to do this, it was quite a show. But anyway, much appreciated. If you didn't go to the Hall of Fame event today, you missed something quite special. But the stories that were told have blew me away. And I cherish them. And I won't do it tonight, but the 98 women's team discussion about the jerseys they played in is my all-time favorite ever that I've heard. So when the soup gets here, we're going to have that story with her. We're going to tell her all about that. So quite impressive. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, talk to them. They'll let you know. Look, I'm going to give you a little history lesson. The inertia to create the Navy Rugby Alumni Association started about 2011. Dan Morris, Rob Sinram, Patty O got together, and they were planning and executing the 20th anniversary dinner for Mike Flanagan. Things started to roll. Next thing you know, we established the Hall of Fame. We inducted Ernie Blake, Sam Marone, General Fulford, John Prusmack for their athletic prowess, and also providing a significant first wave of contributions to get these things rolling. And then about 2012, Chet brought in a guy named Tom Broadmerkle. And they brought me in as well. And they said, how are we going to tap into Tom's business prowess and launch the second wave of contributions? And we did. And we got started. And in 2015, we developed Vision 2020 with the intent as we were going to win national championships. When we put a formal structure into the NRAA, and Tom was designated actually our first chairman. And our goal, to win national championships and get to varsity status. And in 2017, I retired from active duty, and Tom passed the chairmanship to me. Yeah, thank God. Yeah. Okay. So look, I'm really proud and honored to be able to do this. We've been doing it over the last 7 years. And again, our vision, we looked at our vision, we went after it. But one thing we wanted to focus on was our culture. And that was to be a united women's and men's program. Organizing a group of volunteers to execute activities like this dinner, like the Hall of Fame, and the fundraising, it's quite taxing. So to address, we reorganized to a corporate structure consisting of officers, boards of directors, and added more staff. And in 2021, we brought on Ryan Curry to be on the board, to be president of the officers, while again, I ran the chairman under this corporate structure. The results, Gavin Hickey. Murph McCarthy. Varsity status for the women and the men. Now, I know it said Vision 2020. We were a couple years late, but we did get national championships for the women and the men. And right now, the men are ranked #1 in collegiate rugby. And tonight, we can see firsthand our culture has thrived. One alumni association, one banquet, one Hall of Fame, one team, women and men together, 2,300 members and growing. Now, while all that is great and we can pat ourselves on the back, it's time to go to the next level. I do want to say this, and I wish he was in the room at the time, but none of this could have been done also without the help of Chet Gladchuk, the athletic director. You can toss up a bunch of sails, but if there's no wind, you're not going anywhere. And Chet, and I'll tell him this when he walks in, he'll probably go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "You are the wind in our sails." I want to thank you all for this opportunity. I'm going to continue on this journey, but I'm going to be stepping down as chairman. And I'm proud to introduce my replacement, Dennis Murphy. Dennis was a firstie from the class of '81 when I stepped on the pitch my youngster year. We both happened to play center, so he mentored me then, and he mentors me now. His pedigree follows. He's a superb human being, successful businessman, retired Navy captain submariner, played for Hawaii Harlequins and All Navy, was inducted with the class of '80 Hall of Fame, and more importantly, lives in Annapolis. Murph brings the intellect, the passion, and the energy necessary to take us to that next level. So Dennis, please come up and accept this microphone.
Thank you, Joe. And thank you all for being quiet, because it's great to be up here. I'm very privileged to be stepping into this role. And, you know, I've also had the pleasure of knowing Joe Rixey for greater than 40 years. And, you know, after I graduated, then he graduated, we went our separate ways, and Navy rugby brought us back together. And I think most of you know that Joe had a very successful career in the Navy, retired as a vice admiral. But, you know, I spent many years in the Pentagon. And I can tell you that you can't swing a dead cat around that place without hitting a 3-star. And so what I really like to talk about is the remarkable achievements that Joe has done as the chairman of the Navy Rugby Alumni Association. I think he's alluded to it a bit, of the things that have been accomplished over time. And I know that many of you in this room have contributed a lot to it. But Joe is the one that was sitting down in the soup's office, sitting down in Chet's office, sitting down with Gavin as the face of Navy rugby, as we were trying to get ourselves up to varsity status, up to having national championships and all the things that he was talking about. And in the beginning, it was a band of misfits, of volunteers that just quite sure, you know, how to organize themselves, how to get direction. And Joe is the leader that stepped in. You know, he provided that inspirational leadership, that mentoring, that role model. And as I heard from others that were involved in the early days, very much biased to action. Like, let's get her done. Let's get this thing done. And so, you know, Joe, I just really want to recognize what you did. But it's not just for me. I had a couple of the board members that have been around for a long time gave me some very specific quotes about Joe. From Ernie Blake, he said, Joe Rixey is a natural leader. His enthusiasm is infectious and stimulated the alumni group to act, not just to listen and watch. Sam Marone, Joe was critical in creating the impression that rugby at Navy was a serious initiative that would eventually achieve varsity status and be able to self-fund. Tom Broadmarkle, Joe is a true leader and inspiration to us. He drove the vision and documented the roadmap for the future of Navy rugby. So Joe, on behalf of the whole Navy rugby community, thank you for all that you've done. It's been incredible, and we're so glad you're staying on the board, and I'm humbled to replace you. Uh-oh, I'm getting corrected about something.
No, I think I took somebody's notes while I was down, but thanks, Bert.
Okay.
I got one order of business. I talked to you about Ryan Curry, bringing Ryan on to be the president. We're almost done. Hold on there. So when we reestablished this corporate structure, the first thing I did was I got to find somebody else that actually will do the work. And so that was Ryan. Ryan, I don't know if you probably all know him, the class of 03, for all the 03 folks that are in here. Prior enlisted Marine, 2 years in the fleet, NAPS, played center, Marine aviator, 53 Echo, test pilot, all Marine, and the OREP. So he's seen it all. Player, OREP. Then I asked him to step up. And I got to tell you, it's nice when people give us money. We really like when people give us money. But it's also really special when people give us their time. And he stepped up. And he put a lot of hard work in it. And so, Ryan, I'd like you to come up. I think one thing we're announcing tonight is Ryan will be stepping down, and he will be replaced with Pat O'Mahony. So, Ryan, come on.
Actually, I'm going to ask Pat to come up. We'll have him say a few words first. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Pat's going to come up here, but I actually had a little bit more that I wanted to cover before I handed the mic off. And that is to talk about these posters that you see around the room right here, which is really about the future and where we're trying to go with Navy rugby and our fundraising. Joe talked a lot about what we're considering to be phase one. And we're looking at this in a three-phased pronged approach. Phase one was what Joe talked about: national champions, varsity status, full-time coach. We can be proud of the fact that we accomplished that. The next phase, phase two, and you can see it on this placard over here, is to build our Rugby Excellence Fund. You know, it costs a lot to run this operation, and we don't want to bring Gavin up here to tell you about all that it costs and what it takes. But in order to build the dominant program in college rugby, there's a lot that goes to it in just the day-to-day, in the funding of coaches and infrastructure and equipment and all the things that we need to do and capabilities to do it. The problem is that over the last several years, we've only raised enough money to meet 50% of what it takes to be varsity status and do what we're trying to do. And over that period of time, we've been drawing down on that amount that we raised to get the varsity status. So what we have to do in phase two is close that gap, and we've set a target to raise an additional $3 million over the next 5 years. Because what that's going to allow us to do is achieve that dominance, to build that capability that we need to do, that allows us to pivot to phase three. And phase three is this team house, this envision for the future that you see around here. And when I first joined the board, I sat down with Gavin. I had lunch with him. And I said, Gavin, tell me about, what do you need? What are your requirements? What are your priorities? And he talked all the way through this fund for excellence that I've talked about. He said, but Dennis, what we really need is a rugby team house. We need a place where the team can go with state-of-the-art locker rooms, meeting rooms, weight rooms, all those things that when we bring a recruit here, that's what they're seeing when they're meeting with our competition. And if we want to compete into the next decade, we have to get to that rugby team house. So that's our vision for the future. while we build up this excellence fund. And we're not raising money for this yet, but this has been approved by Chet, and Chet brought it to the superintendent, and she has approved this. She's approved the concept, the location. We did a feasibility study. We raised a little bit of money to be able to do it, have an architect come in and do a concept design. This is our future. Lacrosse has shown us how to do this, and we're going to follow in their wake to be able to do this over the next decade. So we're not raising money for it now, but if any of you out there have some millions of dollars you might want to throw our way, we're accepting lead gifts with naming opportunities, but this is where we're trying to go with the future of Navy Rugby. So with that, let me hand it over to Pat, who's actually going to be, I'm handing it back over to Joe, excuse me, who's going to hand it to Pat, who's going to show you how we're going to do this.
Look, one of the reasons I'm stepping down is I cannot follow directions. So real quick, I do want to take this opportunity to properly introduce Pat. Pat, class of 99, another center. I think we're all centers up here. All-American, fly half, surface warfare officer, command of the minesweeper, defender, the skipper of DDG Sampson, Desron 23, all Navy Rugby, Omback, Newport, Potomac, Washington Irish, Colorado Springs Grizzlies, NRAA, now living in Houston, retired last September, is a dynamo and is ready to get to work and take this microphone from my hand. So Pat, welcome.
Thank you, Joe. Admiral, thank you very much. Ryan, thank you for your service to NRA. I know the geometry of this dining room isn't great for paying attention, but if I could capture attention for just 5 minutes, I'd appreciate it. I think that's how long this will take. I'm grateful for the opportunity to assume the role as president. I've been part of this organization, I think, since its inception, if you want to think of it that way. But for the life of Navy Rugby, we've always had an alumni organization. It just hasn't been formal. Thanks to the board of directors, certainly our alumni, and this glorious program that has given me and all of you so much. Joe, Ryan, and Alicia. I don't think Alicia is here tonight, but Alicia is our secretary. She does phenomenal work in putting together meeting minutes and scheduling a monthly call. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention her in my remarks tonight. So thank you for that. Rob Sinram and Joe Buenavista. Joe Buenavista right now is a committed father and husband. Out in California, he's watching his kids play sports. Okay, he's in the right place and he's got his priorities in the right place. But Joe moves mountains to schedule this dinner every year. Yep. The organization, the behind the scenes efforts, you will not know what he goes through to assemble everybody here on an annual basis. Rob Sinram, same thing with the Hall of Fame. Monumental efforts and singular efforts. So in my newly appointed position, and with the authority, responsibility, and the accountability that comes with being president, I will endeavor to make you proud. More specifically, I will be laser focused on 3 strategic interests: increasing our alumni membership and network. At present, we have approximately 2,300 contacts in our database. We want to grow that at least by 50% per year, and I know it's out there. We can do better, and each of us is responsible for spreading the word and connecting our vast network of Navy Rugby graduates to one another. You should expect more from me, and I will for sure expect more from you. Remember, the might of the chain. Second priority, increasing our giving and realizing our true potential. In my first night as president, there's a little bit of tension between me and the chairman. We are raising money. Every day we're raising money. And we're putting it towards objectives for the program, to build the program out. And so tonight is no exception. Many of you sitting here at one time or another have held the belief that you cannot give much, or one day when your pockets are deep, you'll be able to make a real difference. Perhaps that's true. But what you need to know is this: while single large gifts are critical, monthly giving in small amounts is essential and is a force multiplier. $50, $100, $150 a month. Frankly, where we generate the sustainable momentum. It's where we're going to put together the rugby team house. It's not these huge gifts, although those are very helpful in setting the inertia. But each of you has brochures on your table right now. It's got a QR code. It has never been easier to give. It has never been easier to set up a monthly allotment. The redemptive nature of giving, I hope you all know, is like no other. Giving comes in many forms. Your resources, your access, your time, your talent, your heart, whatever it is, give. Remember, with you. And finally, number 3, unlocking our philanthropic potential. When we give, we're not just giving to build new things. We're investing in our tribe, our community of Navy Ruggers, whose shared beliefs and values were formed together in battle at Hospital Point and on Ernie Blake Field in the seasons of life. In this room, we have a collection of doctors, lawyers, politicians, teachers, entrepreneurs, coaches, and many others who have built success on the foundation of our shared Navy rugby experience, all whose talents and resources can support our fellow ruggers. The access to opportunity that folks in this room possess needs to be unapologetically leveraged. Think of the resources and time we can muster to help a rising high schooler gain admission to this institution. Comfort a rugger's spouse or child who have just lost someone they love. Connect a rugger struggling to find work to a job opportunity. Support a fellow grad who is managing a terminal illness or fighting for their life. Provide resources for a lost rugger's grieving kids to get away for a few days of hunting, fishing, surfing, or professional sporting event. Or simply show up for one another on the most unimportant day at the most significant and perilous low point of their life. Remember, strength in numbers. All of us are stronger than one of us. To these endeavors, I commit myself, and by doing so, I commit myself to the men and women of Navy Rugby, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I am with you, all of you, always. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat and Murph. I'm super excited to see where you guys take us. It's like a whirlwind. Looks like Joe Rixey was up here. Yeah, you do. There's a joke about that. So Joe drafted me in 21. I was about a year out of the Marine Corps, and he gave me a call in the spring of 21. He's like, "Hey, I need you to help out and see if you can be the president of this Rugby Alumni Association." I said, "All right, what's that? I'm honored. What's that mean?" He basically said, "Kind of keep this thing on the tracks and make sure we have a dinner." I'm like, I can do that. And in typical Joe Rixey fashion, about 6 months later, Chet Gladchuck's standing on this stage saying, "Let's raise a bunch of money, like millions of dollars, and we'll go varsity." I'm like, I just checked my notes. That's more than a dinner, man. Like, what is that? So it's been an honor to be a part of this. It's been amazing to see us set some pretty massive goals and to meet them quickly, and then to see the follow-on success from both of our teams. It's really been rewarding and an amazing experience for me. I'm very proud to look back and look at what we've done and ushered Navy Rugby into the varsity era for us. So that's been great. And I said it before, and I say it again, that this doesn't happen without the efforts from the staff. We've already had Joe Bonavista. Alicia, truly keeps me on a short leash, which is amazing since she's not even a rugby player. She's a swimmer, just happens to be a classmate, and she's been amazing helping us out. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife for letting me spend all this time talk about this stuff. She's had to listen to me talk rugby business for a long time. And in case you're wondering, it's definitely not a deal sealer for sure. Like that's It's not the way to get there. So anyways, we're going to move along for right now. I think we're going to pull up someone we probably all know, and we've definitely all heard, the ladies coach, Murph McCarthy.
How we doing, rugby people? Yeah, I think it was about 2 years ago, and it was after everything was over. We were like over in a corner over there, and actually, McCrae, Sullivan, somebody said something absolutely ridiculous, and she's like, "I love rugby people," and I do love me some rugby people. It's great to see you guys all back here. This is a great event. It's a great sport, but the only thing better than the sport is the people. And I tell you what, Navy rugby people are pretty awesome. So all of us with the team, this is like our favorite event of the year because we all just get to come back and meet with each other and have a good old time. So excuse me, I got to put on my spectacles, and see if I can read my wife's handwriting. But another shout out for Joe Buenavista, who plans this thing every year from the comfortable confines of his house in California. Like, he really is a snake eater, getting after us, getting all the stuff in for this dinner. And he couldn't attend this year because, like Patty was saying, for kids' sports. And that's awesome. And we also need kind of the boots on the ground around here. And somebody who doesn't get enough credit, Devin Smiley. Yeah. Yeah, so as they say, like the action officer or the guy that hides the body, that's Devin right there. So thank you for that. So the girls team, we're looking pretty good, and we're looking, we got 68 this year, which is actually low for us. 48 of them are youngsters or plebes, so we're a very young team. Where we're getting better and better each week. We have about 6 that played any rugby to speak of before they got here. So as you all remember, like, we are still a very homegrown operation, and they come from all different sports, and whatever sport they come from, is there usually a quick tie-in? Is it soccer? Is it basketball? You understand space. And my favorite story leading up to recently was she was from Utah, and I'm like, "What sport have you played before?" She's like, "I was a dancer." And I'm like, okay. And she ended up being a tight head prop. That's a true story. Yeah. But that story got beat recently when I was like, "Okay, what sport did you play?" She's like, "I have never played a sport before." And I'm like, "How is that possible?" She's like, "I'm from Nigeria. Girls don't play sports." I'm like, "All right, now we're going to do some sprints. Let's see what we got." And she's fast. Yes. The catch and pass is coming around the corner. But we're getting there. And each story like that is as unique as the next one. Right now, I got an 8-man. And when she goes up for a line out, I ask her if she can feel like the atmospheres change. She's 6'2" and has a wingspan of a California condor. But yes, yeah, Kira Cole's fan club's out there. But the best part is when I sub for her, this girl named Mila Romero goes in there. And as much as Kira Cole is 6'2", Mila's 5'2". So when we do a line out with her, it looks like that thing they do in a bar mitzvah where they raise them up in the chair. Is that all we got? But I tell you what, she's short, she's little, but she doesn't care if you're big, tall, small, fat, or huge. She'll tackle you. So, and that's how you get selected. I think Houston was telling the story. His first coach is like, "Can you kick and can you tackle? Can you catch and can you tackle?" Yeah, if you can tackle, we got a spot for you. So that tradition continues, and it's fun to watch each day. We actually got to go last spring break and tour England and Wales. Yeah, and it was a blast. So I know we've just been talking about all this fundraising. This was on our own nickel. I said, "Who wants to go to England and Wales? Give me your money," and we went. So I found a good deal with a travel agent. It was a ton of fun. It was mostly younger players that went. And when we came to preseason this past fall, the younger players that went to England and Wales and played against all the English and the Welsh all of a sudden showed up, and it was like something happened here, and it was magical. And speaking of being at your own cost, a little bit about this was spoken earlier, but allegedly the president tasked the SecDef for some diplomacy over the Pacific Islands, and that went to the Secretary of the Navy. And the Secretary of the Navy was just hanging out with a bunch of us over in Ireland, and we actually had him at that castle for that party. You guys remember that? Yeah. We just handed off that castle. We just handed off the mic to Secretary of the Navy. He's like, "Hey, I know I'm the Secretary of the Navy, but my name's Carlos. This is a great party." And 3 weeks later, all of a sudden, Navy Rugby was on their way to the Pacific. Yes. So a men's sevens team and women's sevens team went to Fiji, Tonga, and Samoa. And I will tell you firsthand that it was like being in a rock band. Everywhere we went, everybody was excited to see us. The rugby was great. It was a total amazing time. Both of the players from both teams had an unbelievable time, and they got it. Like, they understood that was a once-in-a-life opportunity that you're probably not going to get anywhere else. And luckily, because of the program we've built here, they were able to do that as Navy rugby players. We had our first fall preseason. It was magical. I did some after-action stuff, and I thought I was going to hear lots of stuff about I talked too much and we were hitting too much. We needed more nutrition. They thought the 2-week preseason that we practiced twice a day wasn't long enough. Did not see that coming. So I think my hiking trip next year is out the window. But as the fall came out, this was the first fall semester where the brigade commander was not a women's rugby player. But I think we're going to be okay. We've had 2 Rhodes Scholars in 3 years. There's somebody at Oxford right now that graduated last year from this team. And our captain got a Marshall Scholarship, so we're okay. Yeah. We had 6 academic All-Americans at the last season. It was amazing. Basically, long story short is, rugby practice is the favorite part of their day, and I consider my job to not screw that up. So I really love what I do. I want to thank you guys all coming for supporting, and I'd be crazy if I did not thank my beautiful wife for letting me be a rugby coach. Thank you guys for coming. Go Navy!
Eloquent as always. Thank you, Murph. I'd now like to invite Gavin Hickey, our Director of Rugby and Men's Coach.
Murph, this is the last time that you go before me. Last time. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be very brief. I just have a few thank yous to go through. First of all, massive congratulations to our new Navy Rugby Hall of Famers. That's just incredible. Well done. Thank you. Huge thank you to everybody who worked so hard to make our annual With You dinner such a special event. Joe Buenavista and all the gang, gentlemen, thank you so very much. Thank you. You don't need to keep clapping. We'll get through it. I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank 2 of the best coaches in the business, James Willocks and Dallas Elliston. Thank you so much for all your work, man. And it would be very wrong of me if I didn't take this moment to thank our better halves. So, Dallas's wife, Michaela, James's wife, Whitaker, who is due a baby any minute. James, please, just not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Sort that out, will you? And, of course, my amazing wife, Jessica. Thank you so much for all your support. A group of people who have been thanked yet in this room that I want to make a big deal of thanking is our midshipmen. Your relentless daily drive to be the best that you can be is so inspiring to all of us. You never cease to amaze me. And I love going to work every day to work with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, midshipmen, thank you so very much for all that you do.
think everybody here deserves a lot of credit. We all have very busy lives. You've come from near and far to take this moment, to come back home and celebrate Navy Rugby past, present, and future. And the fact that you've done that and then taking time to your schedule to come back here is really a big deal. And when I look around and I see old teammates reconnecting and the stories of those tries you scored getting better and better annually, it just reminds me of something. And it's a very quick story. We've had a tradition the last couple of years when we got to a national championship, and hopefully the tradition is we keep going to national championships. But the last thing we do as a team before we get on the bus is we meet up in our meeting room. And all the players and all the coaches, they form a circle with the chairs. In fact, we were very fortunate to have Ernie Blake and Sam Marone with us in Houston against St. Mary's when we did that. And on each chair is the midshipman name, an envelope with the midshipman's name. And in that envelope is one simple question that we've previously collected those answers. So it's one simple question. And everybody sit down, we take one by one, we read that. And the question is, what does Navy Rugby mean to you? And the beauty of all those answers is that there's not one mention of a rugby ball. There's not one mention of a tackle. There's not one mention of a kick or a pass or a try or a line out or anything. To a man, what is said along the lines of Navy Rugby has helped me develop as a person, as a midshipman, as a teammate, as a leader. It is ingrained in me a sense of trust and love of my teammate. And most importantly, it's helping me see that we're developing lifelong friends. It's a very special moment. And then when I look around this room, a number of years later, it's very, very clear that Navy Rugby has always and will always forge lifelong friendships. And it's so very, very cool. It makes it special. In fact, that's us. That is it, folks. Thank you for all your support. We would not be here without you. And as a result, we are always with you. Go Navy, beat Sacred Heart, beat life.
Well said, Gavin. Good luck to the lads tomorrow and the rest of the campaign, and good luck, Murph, to the ladies as you finish out the season for the rest of the year. So very exciting. So we'll take a break for now, and then we'll have to quiet down, but we'll have a couple guests come to talk to us in a few minutes. All right, thank you. So what's oh, left wicket, so all right, I'll Ladies and gentlemen, if I could just get your attention for a few more minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Do I have any elementary school teachers in the room? Elementary school teachers? Flick the lights. No? We've got a couple guests. I would love. Hey, over here. I'm getting fired, so let's go. Sit down. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're almost there, kids. Hey, we have, I think for most of us, when we were playing rugby for Navy, the concept of people like the superintendent and the AD being in our sphere was firmly in the bad category. And so tonight we are honored to welcome both the superintendent and Chet. So please help me welcome the 64th Superintendent, Vice Admiral Yvette Davids.
Hi. Lovely to see you.
Yes.
This will be great. This will be great. Like, can you see me over the podium? I think you can. I'll walk around it. Hello, everyone. I am so honored to be here and so pleased to be here. This is truly a very special event, and I know it is. I know it is for you, and I know it is for your families, and I know it is for the legacy of these two incredible teams. The one thing that I would say that I learned being here is that yes, we are going to make midshipmen of character, and yes, they are going to be absolutely incredible warriors in the fleet. There is no doubt about that. But they do not get there without the help of so many. And so, where are my midshipmen in the crowd? There they are. There they are. So I know that you all know this, and you will share with me, midshipmen, an appreciation for so many that have come before you and have really set up not just the incredible facilities, thank you, Chet Gladchuck, and all of your leadership in making that happen, but also in the support that you've gotten through great, incredible leadership that is preparing you in many ways better than any other way you're going to get here at the Naval Academy for service to your country and how to be incredible leaders out in the fleet. So where are my coaches? Can you raise your hand, coaches? There we go. Oh, we got another one there. I see another one. And then way back there, okay, I've got some. And there, another hand raised. And for those of you that have ever coached, I think that we all can agree that it is really the incredible spirit of the coaches and the ethos that they provide to us that all of us athletes have been able to be inspired by, learn from, follow, and in many ways, they are your mom, your dad. They are these incredible leaders that sometimes have never even served a day in the service, but that doesn't matter because what we're looking for are people that are going to inspire us to greatness. And one day when you are out in the fleet and you're overseas, you're going to remember the lessons that you learned from these incredible coaches and mentors that really have gotten you to rise to a level that far surpasses anything that you probably ever dreamed of. So let's give a round of applause to these incredible coaches. So I just want to say that I have been here 8 months and it has been truly incredible. But I need to share with you all in this particular venue what I have found out about the rugby team. Wow, I feel pretty powerful. Like I can really tell some really good stories right now, but I'm not going to share that kind of story. What I really want to share with you is this. Rugby players, you are gaining an incredible reputation for your ethos, for your professionalism, for your integrity, for your strength and play on the game, and for your warrior mindedness. And that isn't just here at the Naval Academy, that is worldwide. And there are not many teams that actually have already served the purpose from the highest levels of the Department of Defense that send these teams overseas to represent our nation and already do Partners for Peace engagements, and you haven't even graduated yet, and yet you went to Tonga and Fiji and Samoa and some incredible things. And what that did for the United States Navy in a time you have no idea, in a time where the Pacific Fleet is getting to be an area and an era of competition where we're making way and making friends in small islands to basically provide us opportunities for our Navy to be able to serve out there longer at sea. You have already reached and done the mission, and you didn't even graduate yet. And I just want to say congratulations and thank you for leading the way on that. So with that in mind, I would just say, look, you all have an incredible legacy, and I know you all love that book, as do I. And it's important. And all those lessons learned that you read in that book, that I know that you all follow very, very closely, a lot of it comes down to one thing. You are a family. You all take care of each other. You have a warrior spirit like no other. But you have a certain sense of excellence about your team like no other team we have here at the Naval Academy. And that is your legacy. So I just want to say for all of you that are part of this incredible group here that is helping support these wonderful midshipmen to go on to greatness like you did at Air Force, that was pretty fun. And like you're going to do tomorrow. I just want to say thank you to everyone in here. I couldn't be more proud to be associated with you. The Naval Academy, you make the Naval Academy so proud of you. You make alums around the world so proud of you. And we only wish you the greatest success. And that comes because you know what success is, you know what the taste of excellence is, and because, again, you have an ethos like no other that is being led by your coaches. And you just follow their lead because they're going to lead you to greatness. So thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you. I think next up is Chet Gladchuck.
Appreciate it. Great job. Great job as always. Well, I just want to drop by and say to you, it's a busy night. There are a lot of things going on, but there's no chance I would miss the opportunity to express my appreciation for what this incredible turnout means in terms of support, enthusiasm, motivation, appreciation for something that's been so inherent in the values and the fiber of what the Academy is about. The Admiral mentioned a moment ago, the ethos of what this program represents is truly the warrior spirit that is this United States Naval Academy. I can't thank you enough for allowing us to be where we are, because if it wasn't for the generosity and the support of so many in this room and the vision of so many in this room, we wouldn't be here tonight. We'd still be a club sport. We'd still be playing out on a Hospital Point. You know, remember those days? Hospital Point? Yeah, there you go. You remember that? So do I. You know, but the way it's come together is a success story, certainly to be documented in the annals of the history of the Intercollegiate Athletic Program here at the Naval Academy. I'm not sure, again, we just came for another event, and I'd be, if this particular individual was mentioned or recognized, but I go back pretty far as well, having been at the Academy now for over 20 years. And I remember the infancy of our vision to elevate varsity. But before we did that, there was tremendous amount of respect, appreciation, a lot of success that came with Mike Flanagan, you know, our former coach. So where's Mike? Mike here. There he is. There he is. Stand up, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for everything. And then it became all of a sudden the evolution of that next step, that next phase, where Ernie Blake and Carl Fulford, and you've got John Prusmack and Sam Marone and the core, Sharon Blake, all came together, and we sat around, put the vision together to bring the program to the next level. And we knew it was who we are by virtue, again, of the ethos of the sport. And it was only justifiable that it became what it is today. And then hiring a wonderful staff in Gavin, and the job that he's done. The superintendent mentioned a moment ago about 36 sports and the commitment that we make to all 36 and the leadership that's necessary to evolve in each one of them. But I'm going to be perfectly frank with you and honest. Under no circumstances would we be where we are today and enjoy the success and the motivation to even get better than we are tomorrow against life if we're not for Gavin Hickey. So Gavin, thank you, babe, for your leadership and your inspiration. You set the bar, no question about it. I know Dennis and Pat are going to come aboard in leadership roles, but there were many meetings, and I recall even back in that corner over there, just a handful of us or so, led by Joe Rixey, and we had Ryan in the corner as well, talking about the vision for rugby. The evolution of the women's program came along, obviously, as part of the men's ascension. But now as we look forward to the next step, the next phase of driving an anchor in the ground, setting our sights at the vision of greatness and taking the program to even a higher level, solidifying not only where we are, but becoming even more predominant on the national scene. We're embarking on this project right here, as you can see, that new building out at the BSC. And that is a priority for us. Okay, it's not just something that we've got attached exclusively to rugby. We have a campaign that the Academy is committed to, raise $750 million. And a major part of that campaign, major component, is to put that facility in the ground out there and provide the men and the women of our rugby programs with even better facilities and more resources. So your help, your leadership, your continued support of this program is going to be critical. We don't maintain at Navy. There's no maintenance here. I've never been an advocate of anything with regard to maintenance. It's always what's next. What's that next step that we can take? How can we elevate the program to even higher levels? And that's what this is about. This facility, this building, the pride that we'll all have, and be able to reflect our history, our tradition, our Hall of Honor, the greatness that's come before us and the greatness to come. So let's stay focused on the mission, focused on the target. And again, that's that next step, which includes that wonderful facility that we will get done. It's going to happen. Guarantee it. It's going to happen. All right. With that, thanks again. Appreciate the time. Just share some thoughts. Thanks to the leadership. Thanks for the history. Thanks for the tradition. Thanks for staying with us and motivate us. And let's keep it going tomorrow and beat life and just stay undefeated as we are. Thank you all.
Ma'am, sir, thank you so much for making time to join us this evening. All right, we're almost there. Hold the line. We can get there. Hey, please take a second and look around. I want to make sure we thank the hospitality staff, the bartenders, the waiters. Everyone's been helping us out. Thank you very much. We've said it a couple of times. A special shout out again to Joe Buenavista, who, if it wasn't for him, we'd be eating like pizzas at Dahlgren and going downtown for a beer. So Joe does great stuff. And then Ron Simran with the Hall of Fame effort is huge lift. So again, fantastic. Thank you. I also want to do a quick thank you for Charlie and Kathleen Daniels, both class of '87. They've been year in, year out manning the check-in booth. So again, all the changes, all the last-second ads, that's all handwritten in by them. They've been taking care of us for a long time. If you see in your program, we have a title sponsor, Elegant Violence Rugby Apparel, run by Devin Smiley, who's also the voice of Navy Rugby. So if you're watching the game on YouTube, that's Devin. Try Navy, that's him. So, but again, so we have some stuff here. We have the order stuff on the in the program, and then out there by the pitch, almost there. We also have Lockbetter, who a lot of us know and appreciate, wrote a book. He's raising money for rugby around the country. It's notes from and about coaching college rugby by Locke. All of it goes back to charity, to include Navy Rugby. So please support him. You can find it on Amazon. In my final words, as Navy Rugby Alumni Association president, I'm going to give you a challenge that we've heard a couple of times. To do this requires communication engagement with our group, right, with our people. We have our teammates, and it's a tough group to wrangle. One, because we're rugby players and we're all a little roguish and we do our own thing. But we also come from a school that sends us all around the world, and then we go and have like other careers. So we have like 2 levels that we have to try and track people down. So if there's someone you haven't talked to in a while, and we're telling these great stories, then reach out to those people who aren't here, get them here, get them involved. There's a lot of ways to do this, but this only works if we're working together, just like the game of rugby. All right, so that's my challenge to y'all. Thank you. Challenge accepted. I hope so. Yes. For clarity, tomorrow kickoff for the Life game with the men is at 11. I think there's some confusion about that. So 11 or 1100, 11 a.m. And then finally, it's been when I was a plebe, we were just talking about this at my table. When I was a plebe, I got to go down to Charlotte with the team in the spring, and Nick Colt was our 2000 year 2000 captain, lock, All-American, and I came off, and Nick, who had said like 0 words to me for the year, looked at me and he's like, you play this game the way you're supposed to play it. So I was just kind of a car wreck guy. So I just you smash into people. I'm like, oh, I guess that's the game. I could do that. Hopefully my time in the seat as president, I've done it the way I'm supposed to. And I appreciate that. It's been a fun journey working with y'all. So it's been an honor. I love you. And please, Pat, if you'll join me, ladies and gentlemen, the new president of the Navy Rugby Alumni Association, Pat.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ryan. Great work. Hey, look, we're gonna close it out strong here. If everybody would please rise to join me in blue and gold. As you're doing that, don't forget about the brochures on your table and the QR codes on these boards. Okay, they matter. We invested in these to make it easy for you to give. Shipmates, hands over heart.
For colleges from sea to sea, they sing of colors true. But who has better right than we to hoist a simple hue? For sailors in battle fair, since fighting days of old, have proved the sailor's right to wear the navy blue and gold.
The Army! Have a good night, everybody. Nice job.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Let's turn these off.
You want to take